Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, DoorDash imposed a second fee increase in response to legislation from the Seattle City Council. TSA scrapped a 20-year-old law that requires people to kick off their shoes at airport security. And did you see that salmon fly through the air and land in the seats at T-Mobile Park? Too Beautiful to Live co-host Andrew Walsh and KUOW Director of Community Engagement Zaki Hamid are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. If you're hankering for a volunteer opportunity, why not participate in the One Seattle Day of Service this Saturday? The citywide volunteer effort includes opportunities for all ages, abilities, and interests. You can register online for all kinds of work. Gardening, neighborhood beautification, it's up to you. The handy sign-up even lets you sort opportunities by district. If a thespian experience sounds more like your speed this weekend, consider the Seattle Outdoor Theater Festival. The more than 2-decade-old event promises Shakespearean shenanigans around Volunteer Park, even fight demonstrations. Check it out Saturday and Sunday. And we talked on a recent show about the Seattle Saunter, a long community walk across the city. Well, now there's a West Seattle Saunter. It's happening this weekend. Meet up at the West Seattle Water Taxi Pier at 9 for the start of the 12-mile walk. You can drop off or pick up wherever you like along the route. No pressure. It's all for fun. And unlike the first Seattle Saunter, it's going to be sunny, so definitely pack a hat and sunscreen. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It is Friday again. Hope your summer is in full swing. Andrew Walsh is here. He's the co-host of the Too Beautiful to Live podcast. Andrew, how's it going?
Pretty good, I think. How are you doing?
Another week in 2025 in America.
Yeah. Did I say that with enough confidence?
You bet. Zaki Hamid is here as well. He's KUOW's Director of Community Engagement. Zaki, how you doing?
Oh, peaches.
All right.
Cream.
All right, we're off to a good start. You two, before we dive in, don't look down and don't panic. A viral video of what looked like a crack in the glass floor of the Space Needle caused some alarm over the weekend. The crack is not all it's cracked up to be. It's actually damage to a protective layer above the glass floor, which apparently gets replaced twice a year, according to KUOW 4 TV. It's like the screen protector on your phone, is the way it's been explained. But come on now, how scary would it be to get up to the top of the Space Needle, look down, and see a crack? Do you even want to look through that glass floor anyway?
No. Good grief. Have you been up there since the glass floor? How long has the glass floor been up there? Like 10 years now? Less than that?
Less than that.
Okay, well, I haven't been up there since the glass floor is up there, and I simply will not.
Oh, come on, it's fun.
I'm so scared of heights. I can't even begin to tell you, yeah.
Then you shouldn't go up.
No.
Becky, you've gone?
It's fantastic. I love heights anyway, so you look down and, it's a glass floor and you see everything down below, and it's funny to see people kind of freaking out. The people crawl sometimes to get to where they are because they're kind of afraid to stand. It doesn't really affect me. As I said, I like heights, but it's a ton of fun.
You said you like heights.
Yeah.
So you're into heights, or you don't have to prepare because you're not scared?
No, I'm not scared. When I was a kid, I used to always go on the roof and jump down. And then go back and do it again and again.
Wow.
And again.
Okay.
Your parents were so proud. It's like looking out the window. There he goes again. There he goes again.
Andrew, what would it take to get you to the top of the Space Needle?
I mean, is the whole floor glass, or is it just a section?
It's just a section.
It's just a section.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, though, the last time I went up there, which again was pre-glass floor, I was getting nervous in the elevator ride going up there.
Well, and to be fair now, there's a glass elevator, so you don't want to be anywhere near the Space Needle anymore.
Are you kidding me?
There's no hope for you, Andrew. You've got to tackle it from jump there.
Well, it's beautiful from the ground.
All right, moving on to the big story of the week. Food delivery just got more expensive in Seattle again. Delivery app DoorDash is increasing delivery fees for customers in Seattle, citing what it calls extreme regulations passed by the city. It's the second time in 2 years DoorDash has tacked on fees to the delivery process, both as a result of laws passed by the Seattle City Council in 2023. A gig driver minimum wage that went into effect last year caused DoorDash and other apps like Postmates and Uber Eats to add service charges. Another law went into effect a few weeks ago. It requires, among other things, that apps notify drivers before deactivating them, and DoorDash is responding by increasing fees again. Before we dive into this, think back now to 2020, early era pandemic, lockdown, and just afterwards. How were you using food delivery apps back then, Zaki?
Oh, yeah. We used to do delivery either twice or three times a week. Always, definitely every Tuesday and Saturday, and sometimes we'd do it on Friday, just to break up the routine. We're not getting out, supporting local restaurants. So we used it a lot back then.
Okay. What about you, Andrew?
I was using them a lot early on, even before the pandemic. In fact, I remember the first time I downloaded it. It might have been Grubhub or DoorDash. I think maybe it was Grubhub. But I remember the billboard in L.A. that I saw. I was living there at the time. And I remember seeing a billboard for one of those services and thinking, you know what? I should try that. And try it I did. And it was so handy because I got to try to remember when I have this conversation that when restaurants delivered food themselves, you had a much more limited number of types of food you could get, like pizza, Chinese food, maybe Thai, but it was very limited because they were the ones who were doing that. And so it was very exciting when these things began because it opened up a whole new door of any kind of food you could think of.
That's true. It made every food available to you. And like you, Zeki, back during the pandemic, it felt like, when you're on vacation and you don't really care about spending more money because you're on vacation and things are a little different. That's kind of what it was like in my house. We're going to support local businesses. We're going to get a neat meal in. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
No problem. These days, we don't use DoorDash very often. Do either of you?
Only if absolutely necessary. I don't like the concept. I just don't. I don't like the concept of, I don't know why. It's not really rational. It's the same reason I don't like using, Uber or any of those guys. Like, I'm a public transportation guy. I just don't like pretending that I'm rich when I'm not and having people give me things and all of that. I just don't like it. I don't like to use it unless it's absolutely necessary for stuck or whatever. But if we're going to order out, I'll always go pick it up.
My teenager uses it. I never use it. My teenager will use it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to the point of this article, I literally stopped using it. I think even at one point, we, meaning me and my partner, somehow got roped into signing up for the subscription plan that was supposed to be a deal. Yeah. But then we would open it up, and because of these fees, and specifically here in Seattle, they started, special line item fees, because it feels like a punishment with what these companies are doing. It doesn't seem to pencil out so much as just saying we don't like these policies that the city council is passing to protect workers. Like in this case, it's not even an increase in wage. That already happened. This new thing is you can't basically fire somebody without notice. You got to give them at least 14 days. That seems reasonable. And they're like, we don't like this, so we're going to charge you even more money. It's punitive. And by the way, I was looking it up. The founder and CEO of DoorDash in 2020. So this was the big year. This is the pandemic year. Yeah. Personal income, if you include not just salary, but everything, over $400 million. One man.
That's a man who can afford a $35 burrito.
That is a man who can do that. He has no problem with you treating him like he's rich.
Well, DoorDash says it operated at a loss in Seattle in 2024. Despite the added service fees, and that Seattle is by far the most expensive city in America for them to operate in. And DoorDash says the deactivation law adds drawn-out and intensive review of any Dasher deactivations, and that will cost them time and money to handle. To your point, this is a company that posted $3 billion in revenue during the first quarter. How does this show up for DoorDash? Is operating at a loss in one single market a big deal? I mean, even Costco has the loss leader.
I don't know if it's that big of a deal. I mean,
to them?
To them.
Yeah.
If it's just one city that they're operating a loss in, if they're still making a big profit from the rest of the country, they can afford to have one, market that they're not quite That's the way I see it. I mean, they're still posting incredible profits.
This is a shot across the bow to other cities.
This
is them telling other cities,
warning.
don't you dare try to protect your workers because look how we're punishing Seattle. And they make it sound like they can't be profitable here. Maybe
it's
they
a whole
could.
Mess.
What I want to say is go pound sand. All of you, get out of here. Let's go back to the old days.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. The economy has changed too much now. We can't just go back, I'm guessing, easily to a world where somebody owns a pizza shop and they have a couple of kids on retainer who are delivering the pizzas. It's like the toothpaste is out of the tube, but now these companies have us like kind of just over a barrel.
Would it be a big deal if DoorDash just decided to walk away from Seattle?
I don't know what that world would look like. Well, right now there are
a lot
other
of Snappy Dragon delivery.
Yes, there
they
would
have their
be.
own driver.
Oh my goodness! Does Snappy Dragons deliver themselves?
I
didn't
see
know
the
that.
little flags.
And you can't say that that's a business that's suffering. I don't know if people know that restaurant. That's the one on Roosevelt, right? It's always just packed to the gills there. So maybe there could be a future without these. I mean, right now, if DoorDash left, there still would be Grubhub and Uber Eats and other, and so I don't know exactly how they're handling these things. I also don't know if this is related or relatable, but one of the things that I do now instead of using these services is I'm eating a lot more like frozen pizzas. 90% of what I was using these for probably was like pizza and wings or something, right? So when I finally got so irritated by them really jacking up all these extra fees after the minimum wage law went into effect, I found myself just like settling for like frozen pizzas at the grocery store, DiGiorno or something like that, and just doing that.
They're fine.
They're fine. They're not as good as a pizza. Then I started going to Papa Murphy's, and there's one kind of on Holman Road if you happen to know the area. But the thing is, like...
It's the one I go to.
Is it too? Yeah. And so, like, I never was a Papa Murphy's. For people who don't know, this is the place where you get the pizza. They prepare it for you, but it's not cooked. You go pick up a raw pizza, you take it home, and you cook it in 20 minutes, or like 15 minutes or something.
That's why it tasted so bad. No, I'm just kidding. All right. DoorDash argues the fees are a necessity for them to keep operating here, but that restaurants and drivers are suffering as a result. They say the average monthly revenue per Seattle store on DoorDash fell 2%. So that's probably you and me not using DoorDash anymore.
Yeah.
Seattle's expensive, you know. Is it DoorDash's responsibility to account for that in its business model here?
That's not what corporations do. As I said,
They don't have to be a corporate citizen.
Of course not.
They don't have to be a corporate citizen.
they don't care about Seattle.
What kind of does it send that clear message? Not only are we not a corporate citizen, but we're going to make it difficult for you.
Well, that's what they continue doing.
Yeah.
Raising fees. Even if you subscribe to one of their plans, they cut the delivery fee, but they still charge you part of some other fees.
Oh, yeah. There's still so many fees. It's like Seattle fee, this fee, that fee.
Right.
The same thing happens in the old phone bill. Remember the hidden fees in your phone bill?
That's right.
Those universal connectivity charges.
Actually, I'm interested in knowing, is this sort of a new phenomenon? Because I noticed my internet bill. So I just get internet separate, no cable, no bundles or anything, right? And it was always like $85 a month. And now it's $85.86 a month. And not to brag, I can afford the 86 cents a month. But it's not what I signed up for. And suddenly it just started appearing. So I went on this little journey. I'm like, what is this 86 cents line item? And I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly how it was described in the line. But I Googled it. And it turns out it's specifically a fee that they add that is what I would describe again as a retaliatory fee based on some sort of government regulation about line safety or something like that. But basically, this extra 86 cents that's on everybody's bill, this wasn't me. This was your progressive elected leaders.
Well, and passing the cost of business off on consumers isn't even a new play, right? After the tip credit expired and minimum wages went up for workers, some restaurants added fees immediately. You don't leave a tip anymore. There's just a 20% service charge on your bill.
I like that better than tipping.
You do?
I do.
do.
I'd much prefer they just give me the cost. I think that's good because it ensures that everybody gets that 20% rather than somebody getting 5, if somebody wants to be a jerk at a restaurant.
Well, after all this chatter about the expense of ordering out and delivery, I wonder if it's just time to start cooking at home and taking cooking lessons.
I mean, I'm the cook in the family. I cook at least 3 times a week. I'm a really good cook, by the way. I'm really good, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate cooking.
Do you really?
I so despise, even though I know I make really good food, but I know it's a necessity, and I'm the cook in the family, so I suck it up and do it.
No, there you go. I hate cleaning up, and I feel very uninspired at the end of the day. I just feel very uninspired. Anyway, French fries always sound better to me than stir fry. All right, moving on to our next topic. Big news for fans of complicated shoes. You can now wear them to the airport and all the way through TSA checkpoints. After almost 20 years of requiring people to take off their shoes at the airport security, the Department of Homeland Security and TSA are reversing course, just letting you walk right through. How is this change going to affect your airport routine? Are you going to gamble and show up later? Are you going to wear your platform Doc Martens on the plane? What's going to change?
Won't change a thing for me. I have TSA pre, and
Oh, you paid for the... You say you don't like to act rich, but you pay for the pre-check. Okay.
Gotcha.
It's $80 for 5 years.
Hey, I'm in public radio, buddy.
But I use there's a certain credit card that I use. One of the perks is that they pay for TSA pre, so
Okay.
I actually get it for free. But seriously, I can't remember the last time I took my shoes off at an airport. I've had it ever since they implemented the program. I went and got it. I have not taken my shoes off.
Andrew,
in a
you've been
long time.
shoeless in a TSA line?
Yeah, because I don't have those public radio bucks, so I don't have TSA pre-check. So I always do have to take off my shoes. I do find it highly annoying. I'm not somebody who usually wears slip-on shoes. I guess I do. Well, actually, that is sort of how it changed my behavior a little bit. Sometimes I do have a pair of slip-on shoes that usually I would just throw in my bag for, like, I don't know, lounging. I don't usually wear them out in public, but I did sort of start wearing those to the airport now. I'm just not somebody, I'm not like a Crocs and pajamas in public guy. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I'm just like too old for that. And so unlacing my shoes, taking them off, and especially putting them back on at the end is a huge pain. So this is really good news for me. I'm very happy to hear this.
Yeah. I think the biggest change for me on this one is that I won't have to pack heavy shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I can wear my heavy shoes and
yeah.
pack my light shoes because it's never that way, right? You
Yeah.
want to put your little slip-ons on. Do you remember pre-2006 travel when you could just walk through when airports were so simple?
Hell, I remember when you used to walk to the gate.
I didn't fly as much then, so I didn't have as many experiences with it. But I was mentioning to you before the show, I was also so shocked that this law went in 2006, as you just said, because that's 5 years after the terrorist attacks and 5 years after the attempted shoe bombing that
Which prompted the whole
obviously
thing.
failed, which prompted the whole thing. Took them 5 years to make this happen. I'm also shocked that it's 2025 and we're just getting into Real ID, which was also a post 9/11 requirement, right? And it's just
right,
taken
yeah.
20-some years to make
Government
this
slow,
happen.
that's what we call that.
And it just sort of sounds like, wow, that was so long ago, we can barely remember it. But the new law, the post 9/11 law, just took effect in 2025.
Amazing.
What I want to know is what kind of surveillance equipment do they have now at the airport in order to make that, taking your shoes off not necessary? That's what I'm thinking. Like it has changed.
Oh, they have face scanners. They
facial
have so
recognition.
much.
So what is happening there at the airport that they can look through and know if there's something in your shoes?
You
or
mean
not?
feel secure enough to let people keep their shoes on and still feel like they have security, you mean?
Yeah.
The Homeland Security Secretary says TSA security technology is advanced enough that they can implement this change while maintaining high security standards. Are you still going to feel secure at the airport?
It all looked like security theater to me. Like this whole, everything they do, take your laptop out and all of that. I was like, it feels like security theater. Maybe it's not. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I've never felt not secure.
I'm always way more worried about the Boeing plane that I'm on than a terrorist
geez,
attack.
you had to bring Boeing into it. Yeah.
And I'm being a little flip, but I'm being serious too. Like I gotta say, we were talking before about my fear of heights. So like sometimes I'm not a super nervous flyer, but a little bit. Like if I start thinking about the wings a lot, like that can make me nervous. I don't think since 2002 I've ever looked around and wondered if there was a terrorist around. I never even think about it.
Do you think this is going to speed things up? The shoes are not what slowed people down. I actually feel it was the electronics that slowed people down because everybody gets all messed up at the security
It's
bins.
people that don't know how to go through scanners.
SeaTac, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport says 94% of travelers got through security checkpoints in 30 minutes or less last
bad.
year. That's pretty decent time. That is pretty decent time. King 5 went to the airport to talk to people about the shoe change. Kind of a mixed bag. People didn't seem, okay, great, I get to keep my shoes on. Others more focused on the overall airport experience, which they said was constant chaos, and seems like nobody realized they were coming or going to the airport.
Right. Did you guys not know that we were coming to fly today as one of the...
Don't fly early in the morning.
Where does SEA stack up on your airport?
I love SEA.
I think SEA is a pretty decent airport.
It's a really nice airport. I like it a lot. But here's my tip is I never fly early in the morning or late at night because that's the busiest it is. Even if you have TSA pre-check, you are waiting in long lines. If the flight is at 7 a.m. and you get there at 5, it is chaos. So I always try to fly anywhere between 10 and 2.
I like the 11 a.m. flight.
You know what I mean?
That feels very sane and reasonable to me.
Feels really nice. I also take the security entrance that all the way is a TSA pre-entrance, all the way at the end of the airport where they have that hanging plane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have TSA pre-check, there's nobody there. You go right through.
I'm surprised that you said that most of the flyers were kind of blasé about not having to take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Like, I'm legit excited about this. Now, I'm not a very frequent flyer. I fly maybe let's say 3 or 4 times a year tops.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah.
But I do have a flight coming up next week, and I'm like, oh, that's great. I've always found this to be a little bit of a pain point, as they say, like kind of having to take off your shoes going through security. And so I'm sort of surprised more people aren't excited about it, but maybe it's because more and more people have signed up for TSA pre-check. Maybe a lot more people have signed up for that service Clear that basically lets you cut the line and kind of
There's a lot of ways
smooth
around
over that. Yeah. I just want to mention one infuriating billboard I saw, or like sign advertisement in the airport one time, and I'm pretty sure it was at SeaTac. And I had just gotten through security, and it was a pain in the butt, and they flipped my bag because I had radio equipment in there, so they always have to open up my bag and root around.
Yep.
And then I'm putting my shoes back on and putting everything back in my bag, and I see this sign, and it's an advertisement for the pre-check service. So it's a TSA sign, and it shows a bumbling idiot like me having a terrible time going through their service.
Uh-huh.
They're saying, don't you hate this? You're showing your own service as being a terrible thing so that you can sell me something else. I'm quick
Once
to
you start
rage.
making these public radio dollars, you'll be able to afford it.
Exactly. I'm going to fly with you from now on.
All right, one last thing before we go. The Mariners are known for their Hot Dogs from Heaven promotion where the team drops free hot dogs into the stands. But this one might be taking it a bit too far. On the morning of the 4th of July, something fell out of the sky and dropped right behind a Root Sports crew member at T-Mobile Park. Turns out it was a salmon dropped from the talons of a falcon being pursued by an eagle. I can't even believe the visual. Is this amazing? I can't think of a better representation of our fair city.
Yes, thank you. That was my first thought, too, is that I love regionalism. I didn't grow up here, and so I think I'm hyper aware of the Pacific Northwestness of this place. And same with when I go back to the Midwest. I appreciate the Midwestern, everything that goes along with it. And something about exactly that sentence you just said, a falcon being chased by an eagle dropped the fish that it had just caught in Elliott Bay. I mean, that's poetry.
It's almost like it was like on purpose.
Yes, like a promotion.
If somebody was like, somebody got paid a lot of money to make that happen. You've both been to your fair share of Mariners games. Have you ever seen anything like this happen? There's a lot of seagulls that fly around.
Yeah, there's tons of gulls all around.
Yeah.
They drop in chicken bones, though?
They're not. They're just after the fries.
Oh,
Yeah.
they want the
doing.
fries, of course.
And there
of
is
course.
something unsettling when you, especially if you're sitting up in the 300 level and those birds start to gather about halfway through the game, maybe even later. And they're the Mariners, so there's a decent chance that they're really losing this game. And those things start circling, and it is a very ominous feeling as your team is losing and you're just watching
It's
these
like
birds
vultures
going circling, getting lower and lower, waiting for the game to end. You're like, oh god,
You'll
Wow.
never
another
make
one.
the playoffs again.
Dang. Well, the falcon, like you said, Andrew, probably went fishing in Elliott Bay, fresh fish. There's video of the crew member, though, being surprised as the fish falls right beside him into an empty seat. It's pretty funny. It's moving pretty fast.
He flinches, and you don't know what he's flinching at first, because this all happened before the game, I think, but they caught it on cameras. And he flinches, and I saw this video, I'm like, man, and by the way, I would have flinched way more than this person, but you just... you go viral once in your life and you're flinching. It's just such a bummer, you know? You're just kind of like, oh, this unguarded moment of like, why is there a fish coming from the sky? But I will give this maintenance worker or whatever he was credit, because he then reaches down, picks up the fish, and holds it up to the camera and the crew. I got to say, I don't think I would touch a fish.
I don't think I would touch a fish. We're going to leave it there. Andrew Walsh is the co-host of the Too Beautiful to Live podcast. Zaki Hamid is KUOW's Director of Community Engagement. Thanks, Zaki.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now. Today's episode was produced by Vaughn Jones. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Andy Hurst, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, Shane Mailing, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.